Remains of ancient civilizations. What secrets do extinct civilizations hold? Can we find clues to these mysteries? Eternal stones are reluctant to reveal their secrets. Will they help us figure out who we are now and who we will be tomorrow? Vertical caves and entrances to the inner surface of the Earth. Baksan Gorge, Kabardino-Balkaria, Russia. I think many people remember sinkholes. What kind of hypotheses have not been voiced about their appearance? Scientists mostly agree on natural gas or voids. But perhaps this is not the case at all. Let's look at what some of the more ancient artifacts of this type, which are commonly thought of as natural formations, look like. In July 2016, the first reconnaissance expedition of the Club of Travelers, property of the planet in Kabardino-Balkaria. Then, due to an acute lack of time, its participants only touched the rich cultural and historical heritage of this amazing region. A group of experts, with the participation of local researchers, managed to solve the mystery of a mystical cave near the Karakora mountain range, which was reported by many global media outlets. Kabardino-Balkaria is a picturesque, mountainous region with a rich cultural heritage, with many geological and historical mysteries. To begin with, it is worth noting that the Caucasus region is a beautiful and hospitable land. It is dominated by mountainous terrain with beautiful scenery. And the purest air is filled with the aromas of healing herbs and flowers. Here you can recover in the healing springs, touch the pristine nature. Mysterious gorges and flowering valleys, karst caves and bottomless lakes are also of deep scientific interest. The traces of the prehistoric past can still be found here. Find answers to many historical mysteries and witness various kinds of geological anomalies. Local historians make new and unusual discoveries every year. And experts in the field of bioenergetics report the presence in this region of a large number of places where there are phenomena that modern science is not yet able to explain. Cave in Baksan Gorge. First you have to squeeze through a 40 cm by 120 cm hole. Then descend a rope down a narrow vertical shaft. It is formed by two parallel stone slabs. After 9 meters, the passage goes sideways and then drops back down again. Already here you will be in absolute silence, not a sound penetrates from outside. Another 23 meters deep and a new knee. To reach the bottom of the cave, you have to overcome more than 80 meters, and it takes a whole hour. But after passing the bottleneck, you will find yourself in a huge room, which the researchers called the flask. Inside we will see machined walls of tuff and granite, composed of different sized, tightly fitted to each other polished megaliths. How and why do you think all this was created? There are smooth mountains with perfectly flat surfaces all over the planet. People have been visiting them and living near them for hundreds of years. But few consider how volcanic lava or weathering, if official versions of formation are to be believed, could have polished them so smoothly. Here is a piece that will show the artificial origin of some of these mountains, machined, in some cases using fusion, or while the rock has not yet solidified after formation. The scale of the work is so grandiose that it boggles the mind. Some simply refuse to believe their own eyes. The brain and school knowledge blocking sober perception. Nevertheless, you have to try hard not to notice the obvious artificiality of these artifacts in the presence of the overall picture. Note the charred vertical surface, that's basically what we're talking about here. In South America, entire strata of mountains have been cut or sanded off to build planting strips. Our journey through the polished mountains begins at Buckskin Gulch, Utah. Cut traces of civilization or strata of crystallized fossils. Let's start with the most obvious artifacts. Note the traces of melting and grinding, although clearly no one of the modern ones came here with the machines. The water is not like water, more likely we are talking about the grease. Water cannot flow in such steps, it is a mechanical trace from rubbing the grease into the stone, progressive movements of the disc machine. On the left you can see a triple circular saw track. And on the right you can see rock undercuts. Or rather a rounded cutter track. Try cutting the cheese with a blunt or slightly heated knife, you'll get about the same divisions. Look, here you can see that the cutting tool was clearly rounded. Next, we are mostly dealing with polishing, although it is not visible everywhere. Nature does not make such smooth surfaces, much less melted ones. Traces of melting and polishing in one bottle. Pay attention to the steps. They do not look very much like the activities of today's people. The rock lies in even layers, like the pages of a book. Natural steps and a polished wall all in one. The rock art is painted exactly on the charred plains. Note the variety of horned humanoid animals. A very distinctive recess. You can clearly see that the layer was removed from the melted material and encountered a pocket of air. How big could these cars have been to leave such footprints? And were they cars at all? What was being mined here on this scale? Do you think?